Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be teaching us how to make this lovely shirt. I wore it purposely for us to see the fitting, even for a plus size. I'm hip 51 and you can see, most especially the front, there is no squeezing. There is no squeeze anywhere. It's perfectly fine. Look at the back. You can see you can make yours higher than this for the back, but this is how I want mine to be. So you can see the back and this is the front. Okay, no squeezing, even for a plus size. It's a perfect fit. Can you see? So this is what we'll be making for today. And if you notice, there is no zipper anywhere. I don't like putting zipper for a plus size, so I used elastic band. So despite the elastic band, still it is not squeezed here. So this is to show us that even though we are using elastic band, it doesn't mean it should squeeze. You can see how perfect, how flat the front is lying. Okay, so this is what I want to teach us, the secret of getting a perfect crotch and pants fitting without any squeeze, folding, bulging at the front. And mind you, I didn't even use a stretchy fabric. This is Ankara fabric. This is African print fabric. It's not stretchy at all, and yet this is the fitting. So if you want to learn how to make this, please stay tuned. Kindly watch to the end of the video. So guys, welcome to class. So to cut this pants, you're going to be needing the following measurements. You'll be needing your waist measurement, your thigh measurement, crotch depth measurement. You'll be needing your short length circumference, the place you want your shirt to stop, the roundness of the leg, like this place that my short is ending, and I'll just measure the round of the place. Then for your crotch depth, it's either you ask your client to sit on a flat surface like this and you measure from the waist. They'll relax on the surface. I don't want to sit on my table, so you measure from the waist to the table, so they will sit well, they'll sit inside very well. I'll show a picture of what I mean. Okay, so that's for the crotch depth. That's the best way, the easiest, the best way to measure your crotch depth. They'll sit on the table on a flat surface and you measure from the waist to the flat surface, on top of the flat surface. Okay, so like I said, you have waist, thigh, crotch depth, short length, then short length circumference. Okay, so this method, I'm assuming that I'm cutting directly on my fabric. This is my fabric. We all know it's paper, but it is my fabric for today. Okay, so you can cut, that is to say you can cut this directly on your fabric. I'm cutting on paper because I want to have a template. I want to have it because I'm making a lot of shorts this season, so I just want to have a template. Okay, so another thing you'll be needing is your curves. So I brought these two for us to know that whichever one you have can work. This is armhole curve and this is I don't know the name, but it's sharp curve, maybe pant curve, I don't know, but you can still use it and you can still use your free hand, doesn't matter. Okay, so to start with, please note it is only your waist that you're going to be dividing by 4. As you can see, I didn't include my hip measurement in this list. It's because I'm not going to be using it for this my method. There is no need for hip measurement, so please note it's only your waist that you divide by 4. Your thigh measurement is divided by 2. Your short length circumference is divided by 2. Your short length, there is no division. Your crotch depth, there is no division. Okay, any other division I'll be telling us how to go about it in the class. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to measure out about 2 inches. Remember I said this is going to have elastic band, or 2.5 inches. This is for my elastic band, casing. This one I'm wearing, I used 2 inches, but I want to increase to 2.5 inches so that the band, because I used 1 inch elastic band and it's not free inside, so I want to make the casing a little bit bigger to be free inside. Okay, so this is for your elastic casing. Okay, so from any measurement you're taking now, you're taking it below this line. Hope we understand. Okay, so another thing to do now is to mark out 1 inch from our folded side. 1 inch from this side. So I'll assume this is my folded side. I'll mark out 1 inch. Okay, you will see the reason why you're marking out 1 inch later. So this is 1 inch. Okay, so having done that, my waist, in case you're working directly on your fabric, to know what to place on fold. If you're folding, you know, if you're working on fabric, you put your fabric like this. Okay, so to know what to place on fold, you will use your thigh measurement plus 2 divided by 2. Okay, so my thigh measurement is 32 plus 2 will give me 34. When I divide it by 2, it will give me 17. Okay, so that's what you place on fold when you're trying to cut your clothes. Okay, now the waist measurement you'll be imputing is waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Now let me explain why you're adding 2 inches to this measurement. Is because we are using elastic band. The reason why I didn't add much is so that you can retain the thickness, so that it won't be too much. The puffy, you know, when you put elastic in something, it tends to, you know, gather. The reason why we just added 2 inches is so that it won't be too puffy. Okay, so that it will still look smart even though it has elastic. So in case you're adding that to your trouser, this pattern is without that, but in case you're adding that to your short, you can add waist measurement divided by 4 plus 4 inches. The 2 inches is for the elastic, and while the other 2 inches is for the dart. I hope we get what I'm saying. But since I'm making a short without dart, I'll just do my waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches. Okay, so my waist is 42 divided by 4 plus 2 inches will give me 12.5 inches. Now this 12.5 inches, I'm going to start my measurement from this 1 inch line, this place, not at the end of my paper now, this place. I'll impute my 12.5 inches. Okay, so I'm starting from this 1 inch line, 12.5 inches. So this is my mark here. Okay, so I'll come down for my crotch depth, 14 inches. My crotch depth, how I got it is sitting on a flat surface, and I measured from my waist to the flat surface. So I got 14 inches. Now some people will tell you there is formula. Yes, there are formulas which can work, but this is the best. I tell you, this is the best. So having ruled that across, okay, having ruled that across, now this is 14 inches. I'm going to bring down this measurement I put for my waist, 12.5 inches. I'm going to bring it down on this, you know, as if you're doing your armhole line. To get a straight line, I'll bring down my 12.5 inches here so that I can connect it and have a straight line with my waist. Okay, this is just to have a straight line with the waist. Okay, so this is it. This is our crotch depth. Okay, now from this crotch depth line, we're going to be adding our thigh measurement, and our thigh measurement is thigh plus 2 divided by 2, and that will give us 17. So I'll add my 17 here. Now this is another thing. The 17, you're not starting from where your waist started. You're starting outside the 1 inch at the tip of the paper. You remember our waist started inside the 1 inch, but now our thigh is starting outside the 1 inches. Okay, so I will impute my 17 inches, starting my measurements outside at the tip of my paper. I know why I'm emphasizing on it, so I mark down my 17 inches. Okay, now to get your crotch curve, to get this curve that is here, one thing I will tell us is your crotch, the crotch curve should not be too out, like it should be inside. Let me tell us what I mean. Let me show us what I mean. So to get the extension, or the guideline you use to curve your crotch, just from this waistline here and our thigh line, measure it. The distance between these two, this is the line coming down from the waist, and this is your thigh line. Measure it and divide it by 2. So I have 3.5 here. When you divide it, you have 1.75. This is known as protractor. This thing is known as protractor. We have it in our math set. Okay, so this will help you to have a straight line. So I'll place the angle 45. This is for angle 45 degree, or here, so that I'll have a very straight line, and I'll mark. Okay, this will enable me to have a straight line. So, but even if you don't have it, you can still achieve a straight line. Now the difference that we got here, the distance between here and here is 3.5 divided by 2 will give us 1.75. I'm not going to use 1.75, it's too much. I will use 1. The highest you can go should be 1.5. Your curve shouldn't be too deep. It shouldn't go more than 1.5. okay, it shouldn't go more than 1.5. So I'm using 1 inch, and I'll give it a slight curve. You can use either of the curve. I'll give it a slight curve. Now this is your crotch curve. This is why you always have bulge in front of your short. So to avoid this, let this curve not extend out for the front. Let it not extend more than 1.5. 1 inch is okay, 1.5 is okay, but let it not extend more than 1.5 inches. Okay, so we are done with the crotch curve and crotch extension. Now let's move over to the length of the short. So guys, the next thing to impute is your the short length from your waist to wherever your short length is. And my short length for this is 23, so I'll impute 23 here, and I'll put 2 inches sewing allowance for folding the hem. Okay, so 23 I'll mark down, and I'll mark down extra 2 inches. Okay, So for the from here now, we are going to this we're going to get the middle of this trouser. How do you get the middle of the trouser? From your crotch line. You remember when we were marking the crotch, the thigh line. When we were marking our thigh measurement, we started from here. So from here to wherever the thigh ended, and that is 17, you divide it into 2 equal parts. Okay, 17 divided by 2 will give 0.5. So from the edge of your paper, you mark 8.5 here. This is the middle of your trouser or your short. You mark 8.5 to here. Okay, so you can rule out. This is to tell you that from any measurement you're taking from this place below should be equal. It should be centered around this margin line. Okay, so now the roundness of our short, where I showed us the circumference is 22, and I said it's divided into 2. Okay, so 22 divided by 2 will give us 11. So 11 divided by 2, because we are trying to fix 11 here, this line will have 11. So 11 divided by 2 will give us 5.5. So our 5.5 should be at the middle of this line, so that we'll have 5.5 on this side and 5.5 on the other side. Okay, so this is 5.5 at the middle. Our 5.5 is at the middle of this line. So you mark down the end of this and you mark down 11. Okay, so this is sharing it equally. All right, so assuming this is a trouser, even though I will still do a trouser class, assuming this is a trouser, this is how you will do it down. Your ankle, your knee length and your ankle. This is how you divide it. You share it equally. Okay, so it's time to connect all this together. From here now, I'm not going to use a straight ruler. I'll just curve it in a bit, just slightly curved. Okay, to give us that pants shape. You see it? Can we see it? It's slightly curved to give us the pants shape. Okay, so from here now I can connect straight with my ruler. Connect it in such a way that it will blend in. Now this is it. Then from here now I'll connect straight to the, remember this is our measurement here, so I'll connect straight to here. Okay, then from here I'll connect straight to my waist. Can we see that? Straight to the waist. Now this line, now you extend it out. Instead of leaving it straight, you extend it out. The reason why you extend it out is because when you're folding your short, by the time you fold it in, it will be short when you overlap it. So instead of, to avoid that, I'll come out by a ½ inch, 0.5 here, 0.5 here. This is the hem allowance I'm talking about. Okay, this is the hem allowance I'm talking about. So instead of making it straight like this, you just extend it out, so that by the time you're folding, you will not be short of your fabric. Okay, so just extend it out a little. Now this place, you're not going to leave it as sharp and pointed as this. We'll have to blend it in. So just blend to avoid it being pointed and sharp. You just blend it in. You can even use your free hand. Okay, so this is for the front. So you just extend all this line up for your for the elastic. You just extend it up for the elastic. So this is our front short. So this particular pattern can work for any size. That is what I used in making this, and you can see how fitted it is. So it can work for any size. Just use the person's actual measurements. Okay, so if you're afraid if you're afraid of sewing for a plus size, I can boldly tell you that this pattern works for a plus size, even up to hip 51. I am hip 51. Okay, so this is our pattern for the front. I'll cut it out now so that we can actually cut the back pattern, because the front and the back pattern is not the same. And if you note, I didn't add any allowance on this pattern. All allowance will be added at the back pattern. So let me cut this out. So after cutting it, this is what we have. I know some people will be like, this place is too long. Don't worry, you still fold here for your elastic. You can see, and it's high-waisted. You can see that this one is on my waist. It's high-waisted. So it's from wherever you want it to start. If you want it to start at your lower waist, no problem, measure from the lower waist. So wherever you want your crotch depth to start, just let the person sit down on a table or flat surface, anything flat surface, and you measure from the waist or wherever you want the short to start from to the flat surface. Okay, but now it's high waist pants that is raining, it's trending. So this place, this is that extension. You see, it's not straight, it's extended. So by the time we fold it, because you're going to hem it like this, so by the time you fold it in, you can see the reason why I said extend it, because assuming I made it straight, you see the straight part, assuming I made it straight, it would have been short, but now the extension made it complete. So you can go like from 0.5 to 0.75 and you're good to go. Okay, so this is our short pattern for the front. Then this place that is shooting out, I'm going to blend it in a little. I don't want that bum to shoot out that much like that. Okay, so you just blend it in a little. Okay, so let's pin this to our back paper for the back pattern. Okay, guys, to cut the back, I had to fold in the elastic band allowance for the front. I folded it inside so that we can do what we want to do with the back. So because of that, you're going to be leaving about 5 inches or 4 inches allowance. You can leave 5.5, you can leave 4 inches. Just leave enough allowance up here so that by the time we unfold, like by the time we open it up, it will not be short. Okay, so every other thing is here. The hem allowance is there, this is the hem allowance is there. So now anything we are going to add, we are adding it this side that the crotch is. We are not adding anything by the side seam. This is where we are adding whatever we are adding. Hope we understand what I'm saying. Whatever we are going to add now is by this side. This place will be left like that. Okay, So now the first thing to do is to add your crotch extension. Yes, this is the first thing to do. For the back, you can go between 2 inches to 4 inches depending on how big the bum bum of the person is. Okay, so for me, I use 4 inch. You can do 3.5 inches if your hip is below 50. You can do 3 inches if your hip is below 45, like that. So the smaller the hip, the lesser the extent, but you should be around 2 inches to 4 inches. So in between it, you can use whatever you like, but I use 4 inches. So I'm going to extend out all these lines. Okay, so I'll add 4 inch extra to the back so that when you sit you can be comfortable. Now for the back crotch, you're going to be adding 2 inches or 1.5 inches. Okay, 2 inch, 1.5 inches, anyone is perfect. So I'm using 1.5 inches. So I'll add it here and I'll try as much as possible to blend it back to the waist. You can see my hand from this 1.5 inches. I'll try as much as possible to blend it back to the waist. Okay, so I'll try to blend it back to the waist because we only need the excesses, only need it like this, so you can see. So the difference between the front now is 1.5 inches. Hope you can see that clearly. So this crotch is for the back and this is it. So now depends on how big the thigh of the person is. You can decide to leave the 4 inches straight down, or you can, when you're coming down a bit, you can be reducing it. So me, I'm going to be using 3 inches for the for this part, the hem part of my trouser. Instead of using 4 inches, I'll use 3 inches. Okay, so I don't want it to be too big. I don't want to be adjusting, so I'll just use 3 inches. And remember how you blended, you used your slightly curved ruler to do it when you were doing it for the front. So you do it like that, just a little slant, then you use a straight ruler to complete it. Okay, so any sharp points you blend. So you're still going to do the same extending out for this one. Extend out the hem allowance. Okay, so that's that for the down part. So for the upper part, we are going to be increasing the back crotch depth. Okay, you can increase from 2 inches to 1 inch, depends on how big the bum of the person is. Okay, so I'll go up by 1.5 inches. This is the reason why I said I will fold my my elastic band so that this place will be straight. By the time I finish whatever I'm doing, I'll add the elastic band, the elastic allowance, the casing, I'll add it back. So this is my 1.5 inches here. So this is my 1.5 inches here. I will connect it with a straight ruler straight to this end part here. Okay, so with a straight ruler, I'll connect it straight. So this is to make sure that you can sit properly Like I said, you can go up by 1 inch, you can go up by 1.5, you can go up by 1.75, you can go up by 2 inches. So between 1 inch to 2 inches you can go up. Okay, so this is to ensure that you can sit properly, and the extension too at the back can ensure that you can, you know, climb a bike or just be comfortable. Okay, so this is that for the back. Now let's re-add our 2.5 inches for the casing. So re-add our 2.5 inches back for the casing. This is the reason why I folded it initially, because the front and the back is not the same. So I'm re-adding it back now, the 2.5 inches for the elastic casing. So in case you want to use a band, you can deduct this 2 inches. You can deduct 2 inches from your measurement. The same way you do when you want to do an off-shoulder dress, you know, you deduct, then you replace back with a band. So now this is for our back. This is elastic casing, and this is the crotch depth extension. So that we can sit properly. Okay, I hope you can see it clearly. Now I'm going to be cutting out. Remember I told us there is nothing on this side. So when you're sewing, you sew in with 1 inch on this side, 0.5 inches inseam. Okay, so but I'll show us the sewing parts in the next video. So let me cut. So guys, this is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. So if you know you sew your inseam big, like if you know you take much allowance sewing the inseam, like I sew with 0.25. so if you know you sew more than 0.25, please add seam allowance on your fabric when cutting on your fabric. If you're transferring this to your fabric, please add 0.5 inches seam allowance. But if you know you can sew with 0.25, you can leave this like this. But if you cannot, please add 0.5 sewing allowance for both front and the back. So I will see us in the sewing machine where we'll be sewing this. I'll go ahead now to transfer it to my fabric, and we'll see in the sewing machine. Okay, so then see you. Bye. Thank you for watching. So if this video was helpful, please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, share it on your groups, recommend my page to your friends, and we'll see in my next video where we'll be sewing this beautiful pattern to give us these lovely shots that I'm putting on. Till then, bye.